We often think that to beat a big problem, we just have to hit it harder. But what if that's not the answer? Today, we've got a story about exactly that. It's about courage, sure, but also about intuition. And this one single piece of wisdom that can completely change the game when everything is on the line. This is Rise Above the Storm. Seriously, think about that for a second. When you feel like you've hit rock bottom, where do you actually pull that strength from to keep going? It's a tough question, right? Just hang on to that thought as we go through this story because the answer here, well, it's not what you'd expect. All right, so let's set the scene. We're in this quiet little coastal town called Clearwater. But tonight, something's coming. And what's so powerful about this is the contrast. Normally, Clearwater is this peaceful place. You can almost smell the salt and hear the old fishermen's tales on the breeze. But not tonight. Tonight, the sea is just furious. The wind is screaming. This isn't just a storm. It feels like something else entirely. It's the perfect setup for chaos. So who's in the middle of all this? Well, we have two main characters. First, there's Lily. She's only 13, but she has this incredible, deep connection to the ocean. It's in her blood. And then there's her dad, Captain Tom. He's one of the best fishermen around. And guess where he is right now? Yep, out there, somewhere in that storm. Their whole lives are tied to the sea, and tonight, that bond is about to be pushed to its absolute limit. So back on shore, her mom is trying to tell her everything's fine, your dad's been through worse storms. But Lily, she just can't shake this awful feeling. It's like a sixth sense she has with the ocean, and right now that intuition is just screaming at her that something is terribly, terribly wrong with her father. And just like that, that sinking feeling in her stomach is about to become very, very real. I want you to just picture this. It's pouring rain, it is pitch black out, you can't see a thing. And then, crack, a bolt of lightning just splits the sky open. For just 1 second, everything is lit up bright as day. And in that 1 second, Lily sees it. A small boat, just getting tossed around by these monster waves like it's a bath toy. And her heart just stops. Because it's not just any boat, it's the Sea Star. It's her dad. And suddenly this isn't just a bad storm anymore. This is personal. Now look, most people in that situation, they'd freeze. I mean, what could you possibly do? But not Lily. What she does next, it's just an act of pure, raw courage. Think about this. There is no hesitation. She just runs straight into the wind and rain. She ignores her mom shouting after her. She unties this tiny little rowboat, a boat that has no business being out in this weather, and she just starts rowing straight into the chaos. This isn't some well-thought-out rescue mission. This is a daughter trying to save her dad, fueled by nothing but love and desperation. And somehow, against all odds, she actually makes it. After this brutal fight against the waves, her little boat slams right into the side of the Sea Star. She gets thrown onto the deck. She's there. She reached him. But they are a long, long way from being safe. And this is where it gets even worse. This is the absolute low point. They're together, sure, but the Sea Star is sinking, and Captain Tom just looks at her and delivers the worst possible news. The engine's dead. That's it. No power. No way to steer. They're completely at the mercy of the storm. It feels like there is absolutely no way out. But it's often in these moments, when everything seems completely hopeless, that something incredible happens. And that's exactly what we're about to see. So the boat's going down, the storm's still raging, Lily's mind is just racing, trying to find any solution. And then, something clicks. A memory surfaces. Something her dad told her a long, long time ago. And this is the absolute core of the whole story. He told her, when the storm is too strong, you don't fight it. You rise above it. Now, on the surface, that's just sailing advice, right? But it's so much more than that. It's a life lesson. You can't just smash your head against a problem over and over again. Sometimes you have to step back, change your whole approach, and maybe even use the energy of the problem against itself. And hearing those words in her head gives her an idea. She spots a torn piece of the mainsail just flapping uselessly in the wind. It's not much, but it's something. So, working together, they manage to get this tattered scrap of fabric and rig it to the mast of the little rowboat. And it works. The wind, the very thing that was trying to destroy them, now catches in this little makeshift sail, and the rowboat lurches forward. They're not fighting the storm anymore. They're using its power. They are literally rising above the waves, leaving the doomed sea star behind as they head for shore. So after what must have felt like an absolute eternity, that brutal night finally starts to end. And as the sun starts to come up, they reach the shore. They just collapse on the sand, completely exhausted but alive. They survived. The storm is over, and all that's left is this incredible, profound sense of relief. And in that quiet moment on the beach, we get this really beautiful exchange. Captain Tom, the seasoned fisherman who knows the sea better than anyone, just looks at his daughter with so much pride. And his words say it all. She didn't just remember his lesson, she lived it. So what's the big takeaway here? Because it's a great story, but it's not really about a boat, is it? It's about us. It's about our storms. It's this powerful reminder that when you're up against something that feels huge and impossible, just trying to power through it might not work. Sometimes the real solution is to be clever, to change how you look at the problem, and to have the guts to try a completely different path. Which, brings us right back to that question from the beginning. Lily found her strength in a memory, in a piece of her father's wisdom. And so it kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. What storm will you rise above?